Motivated business owner, welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Spotlight. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, and today's bright spark is Andrew Spira, a serial entrepreneur, speaker, coach, and self-confessed recovered drug addict. You can hear his story of transformation in episode 6 of this podcast. Now, with a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, Andrew is now at the forefront of the fintech boom as the founder of the high-volume lending business Skycap. Andrew, welcome back to the Spotlight.
Good morning, Timbo, and thank you for having me once again. It's my pleasure.
Now, mate, you claim Skycap provides funding as fast as 2 hours due to the advanced technology, which I know you love and are proud of. Tell us a little bit about that.
So Skycap is my baby. It took me 3 years to build the systems and platforms to actually launch the company. And I guess the question around the 2 hours is I've automated the loan approval process through AI. I've created my own metrics, kind of like lending for dummies. Which allows me to tier the customers and automate the approval process. So basically, we've got a customer that comes in our sales funnel. They apply for a loan. They go through the systems I've built. They fall into a category of customer. They automatically get a loan contract sent out to them. They sign, and then we release the funds within. Sometimes it takes 45 minutes to fund a customer.
AI. Let's go down that rabbit hole straight away, because you say you started working on Skycap 3 years ago now. AI kind of hit its straps in November, what would you say, 22, when it sort of came to the forefront of the public eye. But you'd obviously been well aware of what was going on.
During COVID, in 2021, during COVID, I knew AI was my next thing. I knew I was going to make money. I could see my brokering business was starting to slow down and it was getting saturated. So I could see this was going to be my next, how I was going to make my next bit of money, or what my next business was going to be around. So yeah, I've been using AI for 3 years, but yeah, I think maybe it's only really taken off this year, I would say even.
I love getting everyone's perspective on this, Andrew. Can you remember the moment where you have been interacting with some form of AI and gone, oh my God, this is going to change everything? Was there a particular thing that you were doing?
I can't remember the guy's name, but there was this influencer. He's on Shark Tank now. Shark Tank Australia is one of the Shark Tank guys. You probably know what I'm talking about. And he's saying, ChatGPT is going to be the next thing. And I'm like, what is this ChatGPT? And I go onto it and I start fiddling with it. And as soon as I started fiddling with it, I could see that this was going to be the next big thing for my business. I was going to use this to make money. I could see it as a money making tool straight away.
Good on you, mate. Good on you for actually taking action on it. So funding in less than 2 hours, you mentioned just 45 minutes then. What are the key pain points that an Australian SME today experiences when trying to get finance elsewhere?
You probably hear this a lot. It's documentation, it's time in business, it's being organized, it's small businesses aren't able to plan like these larger enterprises. Well, they have general day-to-day cash flow problems. So going to a bank and waiting 2 months for an approval is just not suitable for a lot of our customers. They need money that day. And I think that's where Skycap really comes in. We fill that void. We do a credit check and we assess the bank statements. They're our key metrics. And then we're able to generate an approval based off that. So there's no documentation that needs to be prepared. There's nothing with the accountant. We're just assessing the business on the day and providing it funding based on that.
Because, as you say, paperwork's one of the great blockages, and it's amazing how many lending businesses make it really difficult to lend money, which I get. I mean, it's a high-risk business. So it kind of makes sense. But, fintech is one of those industries ripe for disruption, and disrupting the application process is probably a really good thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why we've got taken off so quickly, because we're so quick. And our business is private. We don't have any investors. I've got one business partner who's passive. So I'm able to make really fast decisions and run the business like that. Now, back to the point, banks didn't always used to be like this. You used to have a relationship with the bank and they would help you, but they seem to be in the business of not helping you these days. Particularly the big four, it's utterly disappointing that a lot of good businesses aren't able to get funded through them.
Yeah, just finishing on that speed thing, I read a book recently by a guy, Jay Bayer, who'd done a research report out of the States, identifying that speed, response to customer, is by far the most important thing these days. So, as a tradie, the tradie who gets back within the hour of the phone call is probably going to get the business despite being more expensive possibly than the one who responds 24 hours later. So businesses appreciate prompt service.
Well, that's it with these business owners. They have problems that they can't see coming, as a day-to-day basis. They might
Yes.
have a stock opportunity. They might be just short on their wages. They might, someone might not have paid them on time, and that's where we come in to help them. So it's same day. There's no mucking around. You fit the metrics. We fund you. You pay back over a period of time, and I think that's why this year I've got a lot of Christmas cards and Christmas hampers.
Yeah, that's right. Nice.
Every year there's Christmas cards and Christmas hampers. I'll tell you a funny story. One time I had a customer, which he was a dentist and he needed cash like that day. I was broke. I wasn't lending back then. And I got him the funding. Anyway, he sent me like a hamper full of champagne and wine and everything. This is back in 2020. And he sent it to my holiday house. And it sat there for 4 months and no one touched it,
I didn't spend, I
Yeah.
didn't spend what you lent him on the hamper.
Yeah. I didn't tell him that we weren't living there anymore. Anyway.
Andrew, describe the typical business owner you had in mind when designing Skycap, because there are lots. There's the one that's got the idea and hasn't really done the business plan. There's at the other extreme, there's the one that's been bankrupt, and there's everything in between. So who's the typical Skycap customer?
Look, they're mum and pop businesses. The demographics between age 40 and 55. They've got a small business they've been running for 2 years or more, and they have sporadic cash flow issues. Now we're industry agnostic, so we get everything from transport businesses to agriculture businesses to cafes to restaurants to clothing stores to weird business ideas like artistic businesses. So it's really all over the shop.
You approve 90% of the applications, yet you are dealing with the S in SME, quite the small end, where your borrowings between $2 and $100,000. They're pretty high risk end of the market. So how do you mitigate that risk?
Look, it's high risk, but we have good parameters for our customers, and we've got, I guess, a good. I've been dealing with some of these customers for more than 8 years because I've been a broker before this. So it's just about picking the right customers to lend to, and going through the correct systems. Like we've got 7 steps to get the customer through the journey. Firstly, we're pulling their consumer report, then we're pulling their company report. We're then pulling their bank statement. We're then pulling their home ownership data. We're pulling their zero data, and then we're doing a check against home affairs. So it is all the businesses that generally aren't going to go to approve don't bother going through the process. That's why we've got such a high approval rate.
Some business owners are listening to this saying, yeah, but my business is really complicated.
Yeah, that's
What do
okay.
you say to them?
That's okay because we're not looking at the high documentation. We're looking at the bank statements. That's the thing. So even if you've got a complex business, it might take our systems a little bit more time to analyze it, but not really. It's a pretty simple formula. I'm not going to tell you the formula, obviously. Yeah,
It'd be like asking the Colonel for his 11 secret herbs and spices.
that's it. Yeah.
I love it. Now, crypto, we are right now as we speak, Bitcoin's going bananas. Just interested, probably people thinking, what role does crypto play in Skycap? Can you lend it? Can you pay back with it?
No, we're crypto free. Look, I would love to incorporate blockchain into Skycap. I'd love to incorporate blockchain into Skycap. I don't see where it fits in at this stage. But I think it is in the foreseeable future. Maybe we have a bit of a special purpose vehicle where people can invest crypto and get a return. That's what we're thinking. But that's still a fair way down the track.
Yeah, got it. Well, maybe a fair way down the track these days could be a month.
Yeah, or 2 weeks, or next week when I wake up and it's Christmas and I'm bored. Yeah, yeah.
Andrew, just getting back to the typical Skycap customer, any little case studies you can share with us where Skycap's really come to the rescue and saved a business or really given a business the opportunity to take that next step?
Look, it was the first loan we ever did at Skycap, which is probably the greatest one. This guy had written off his car. He owned a driving school in Canberra. The insurance payout time was, I think, 6 weeks. And he needed fun. He couldn't afford to stay off the road for any more than a day because he had all these bookings and he had return customers and kids that he was teaching how to drive and adults as well. and we were able to get him the 10 grand within an hour. He bought the new car, and then the insurance reimbursed him in 4 weeks, and we got reimbursed as well. So I think that's probably the most memorable one. It was also the first loan. And another one was, we had this blue chip customer, owned 5 properties up in Port Stephens. He was a plumber, and he needed 40 grand that day. This guy was a bank level customer. We lent him the 40 grand, and then Commonwealth Bank paid us out like 2 weeks later. So yeah, we've got some good customers that come through the door.
The elephant in the room, what everyone's thinking is, yeah, but where's the downside here? Is it going to cost me a fortune? So talk to us about interest rates.
Yeah. The interest rates they're higher than normal bank rates. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That'd be expected.
It start from about 20% per annum. So that's for an unsecured loan. So looking at 20 up to 25%, depending on the risk criteria.
Is there a minimum loan period?
Minimum loan period is 4 months, and maximum is 12 months.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
You got people, I suppose, at the other end of the phone, maybe bots. I don't know. They coach you through.
I use a recruitment agency in Manila, and I've got 38 employees in Manila now. So
nice.
The whole back office is run from there. We've just expanded into the UK, so we started doing the same SME loans in the UK, and we're also looking at expanding into New Zealand in the next 6 months as well.
Well, I suppose it's very scalable outside of the legislation that surrounds money lending in each country. Well, it's quite a scalable business.
All the Commonwealth countries have the same systems and processes. So there's no reasons we can't expand into the UK, New Zealand, America, and Canada. It's all the same systems, same processes, and same regulations, more or less, as well.
You've got a very business background, Andrew, and there are business owners listening who think, "Oh, I'd really love to borrow money, but debt. I hear debt's bad. I should never carry debt." What do you say to them?
I disagree. I try and get as much debt as possible. It's hard to get debt, and if you've got a business which you can leverage and which will give you a return, go for it, because opportunities don't last forever. That's what I'll say.
What's the mindset around carrying that debt, though? Once you got the loan, the loans come through in 45 minutes through Skycap. Now you owe 30 grand. You've never had to owe 30 grand before.
Well, hopefully you use it for the right purpose, for actually scaling the business. Like, I take debt on Skycap to on-lend to my customers, right? And I try and get as much debt as possible because I can't keep up with the demand. Like, we get 100 applications a day. We can approve 40 of them. We don't have the funding to fund everyone. So as long as it's a good use and using it within the business, I don't think you'll have any issues. But of course, on the flip side, I say to my customers, if you're not borrowing it for a business purpose, don't borrow it, because it's pointless. These are business loans.
Other thing, what couldn't you borrow money for?
Anything personal.
Through Skycap.
Anything personal.
Anything personal.
Yeah, we're a business lender, B2B lender.
Fair enough. Andrew, well done on bringing it to market. That small end of the SME market needs something like this just to push new ideas forward, just to get over a cash flow hump, whatever it may be. So how do people go about finding and applying for funds through Skycap?
So you can go straight to the website, skycap.com.au. We've got all the interactive forms there. Make an application. Someone will be in touch with you within half an hour. But if you just go straight through the platform, we can get you a loan within 2 hours. Skycap.com.au.
Dare I ask, Andrew, being the serial entrepreneur that you are, is there another idea bubbling in the background? Or
there's heaps, but I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it to myself anymore. I'm on a good wicket. I'm going to slowly expand into the UK and slowly expand into New Zealand and start buying properties. I've learned my lesson the hard way.
Do one thing well.
Yeah, that's it. Do one thing well.
Andrew, thanks for joining us. And to you, the motivated business owner, thank you for getting this far. If you feel a little bit brighter thanks to this episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Spotlight, then you'll find conversations with successful business entrepreneurs over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com or on your favourite podcast app. Until next time, may you and your business shine.
Thank you.